good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. You have come to the Hot Angry Mom channel, and I'm coming to you from the Boogie Down Bronx, or the traditional home of the Lenape people. I am the writer-creator of Hot Angry Mom, which is an award-winning dark comedy series about a people-pleasing New York City mom who discovers that anger is her superpower when a video of her having an epic meltdown goes viral. And this is the perfect season to check out our show because Sunday is Mother's Day. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and check out the show. We have several iterations of it, meaning that we have a micro series, we have a web series, and we have a TV pilot. What you can check out on this channel is the web series, which ranked number 2 in the USA and number 5 in the world in something called the Web Series World Cup, which is an international coalition of web series film festivals around the world. And I guess the ranking is out of about 600 different projects. And we were honored in 2023 to be on that circuit. And now we've put the series out on YouTube because we have the ambitious goal of reaching 1 million moms. So if you like our channel, if you think it's funny, interesting, please share it with moms that you know. Every Tuesday, I've been trying to go live as a bit of an experiment. There's a couple things you might notice. Today is not Tuesday, it's Thursday. But I've been doing something called Truth Tuesdays, which was an experiment for me as an artist and creator to show up unscripted and talk a bit about art or my life or whatever is going on in the world. I think that it is really important, particularly in the United States at this moment in time, for all of us to listen to the wisdom in our own bodies, to use our voices to speak about what is important to us, and to make art and to build communities. So I am very imperfectly taking action, which is something that has been scary for me to do. I think like so many women, maybe I was enculturated that I had to learn everything in detail, like go be a complete professional before you can share your works in progress or step out in public. So here I am without makeup, with only just a loose outline of some things I might want to talk about, and offering you my presence, my stories. Okay, so first I just want to acknowledge it's Thursday, and it's actually been 3 weeks since I went live. I had a streak of 5 weeks in a row where it went from, I think the first live, I babbled, I cried, I was totally terrified. And then it started getting a little more comfortable and fun. And I will say I'm a little scared again today, having taken a break. But I think moms know, artists know, entrepreneurs know, you got to show up and you have to give yourself the opportunity to take imperfect action. So here I am at after 3 o'clock on a Thursday. And this live might be a little bit shorter than the other lives that I have done because I need to leave in an hour to go to a film festival for a film that I am an actor in called When Everything Was Blue. It's screening tonight at Fairfield Theater in Connecticut. It is a short film about by Christina Chirona, about a first responder and his family and the aftermath of 9/11, how a 9/11 related illness has impacted this family. But the beautiful thing about it is the way that the story is told is through the intimate lens of a home video camera. So when you're watching it, it feels like you're watching the real home videos of this family, but also you're looking at the power of family and the struggle of illness and healthcare. And I think it's also important at this time to realize that there are still people who are impacted by 9/11 related illnesses. And that there is funding that's on the slashing board right now for treatment for those illnesses. And so we want to continue to support our first responders and their families and people who were impacted around the ground zero area in 9/11. So I'm heading out to that tonight. And then why haven't I been here? Well, I guess 3 weeks ago, the series Hot Angry Mom was nominated for a People's Telly Award. So it became part of a public voting process where people could check it out and then vote, rank it, I guess, against some other. I don't even know if against is really the right word, but it had a chance for people to see it and for it to get some public love. And on May the 20th, there's going to be some type of announcement ceremonies for something called the Telly Awards. And Hot Angry Mom is in consideration for the comedy series, for Best Comedy Series, and also a part of the People's Telly Award, which is like an Audience Choice Award. So I got very, very busy trying to promote and do work around that. I am not only the writer-creator of Hot Angry Mom, I am also the producer of the series, and I play the mom. And the story was inspired by my real-life family and my own journey to negotiate my anger as a woman, as an artist, and as a mother in today's world. And it's a comedy, a dark comedy at times, but it is a comedy. So things that I've been doing were work around that. I had a medical procedure called a Dysport where they had to inject, I guess, the equivalent of muscle relaxers into my neck and my back because I'm working with a physiotherapist to try to adjust my alignment, like how I stand, because certain muscles have gotten really short and I was having impinged nerves that were like pain radiating through my whole body. If you are a person who hunches forward when you're watching TV or looking at screens or working on computers and writing, be mindful of your alignment because it can really jack you up as you get older. Some other cool things that were going on. I was in a Michael Chekhov class with Bethany Caputo through the Actors Center, which is I'm a resident company member. Can I talk? No. It's a really incredible organization here in New York City for professional actors. It is a company that creates space for actors to come together and work on their craft outside of commercial pursuits. So really getting a chance to study with some of the great teachers and directors from all over the world and to try things you're maybe not good at and stretch and grow and learn as an artist. There's no other space like it in the world that I know of for actors. There are writing residencies and there are spaces for visual artists and different kinds of creators and makers. But this is a company here in New York City dedicated to that. And so throughout the year, I get to take some really incredible workshops and keep learning. In the last few weeks, I've seen a bunch of plays. So the theme today, or the way I've titled this live, is Tony's, Tariffs, and Mother's Day. I'm going to talk a little bit about Macbeth in Stride. John Proctor is the villain, Gypsy and Floyd Collins. I'm a little partial and connected to all of those productions, even in the most minuscule way, but I've seen some of them recently. I've also been in a recording studio in Manhattan working on an audio fiction series called Sucker, which I can't wait to tell you more about. But I was in the booth yesterday, which is why I have this Band-Aid, because there is a stabby scene where I got to do all kinds of violence, but had to do it through my voice. And with an emphatic gesture, I hit my hand on a metal music stand and cut it right open. So I bled for art yesterday. I sobbed, I raged. It's a really exciting new story, vampire story called Sucker, but not in the way you think. So I'll let you know more about that in the future. I had an audition because vampires are in the air. I also saw Sinners, which I really enjoyed. But I auditioned for Dracula, a comedy of terrors. My audition was bonkers. That was a very stressful, a lot of things to do. I really had fun playing Renfield. So if you know the Dracula story, Unhinged may be something I do really well. I did not feel as comfortable playing the doctor, Dr. Felt. Um, in any case, and I also worked on another audio fiction series called Moose on a Highway, which is already out in part, but we recorded the final episodes. So I've been busy, is the long-winded point, with some really cool art making and some teaching. And I just kept missing the Tuesdays, and I decided to show up today, even though it was Thursday, even though this isn't supposed to be a good time for going live. But thank you for being here. Thank you on the replay for the folks that listen and watch. I'm going to take a breath for a moment. Holy moly. Today when I woke up, I overslept, first of all, and then I started reading the news. And I was reading a bit about Elon Musk and Doge and some of the ways that they are aggregating our personal data in the name of efficiency, but doing things that people are really concerned about in terms of our privacy, making all of us vulnerable and our data vulnerable. I was reading about Elon Musk's space ideas, about wanting to colonize Mars, and ways that some of our money, the money that had been going to NASA and so forth, he's trying to get in on that. And anyway, I cannot re-articulate everything I read. I will tell you the point was I felt scared, and I felt so small, powerless, actually, in the face of the chaotic changes that are happening in the way that the American government is currently structured, what's being gutted, the people losing their jobs, services and institutions that we've come to rely on to protect democracy and serve large portions of our population are just being gutted. It's changing so fast. And so, as I'm saying this, I'm feeling sadness, and I'm feeling my throat close up. And these changes are overwhelming, and they're very scary. And I felt that sort of frozen paralysis that can happen to us. Like, who am I going live on YouTube, the writer of a web series and teaching artist going into New York City public schools? Like, what do I matter? What does my life matter? What does my work matter? What can I do to help shape the world that I and my family want to live in? So in response to the overwhelm and the sadness, I had to go sit and meditate. This room is chaos, but I'll try to turn the camera and see if I can send you over there for a minute. Oh, can you see that? Yeah, so over in that corner, I have a meditation area where I light a little candle and just sit there for 20 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever time I can set aside. And during that time, I started to breathe and find my spine. So here, I'll invite you, if you're watching this, to sit up on your sits bones, the two bony bits. You can kind of feel them if you reach into your bottom. And then just pay attention to your spine and allow it to be as long as it can be. And ground yourself in your body and take a breath. So I meditated, and some of the things that I was thinking about are the NEA grants that were promised and then rescinded. A lot of arts organizations that I know are being impacted by this funding. I'm been hired to do a show at the Detroit Public Theater this summer, and I'm scared that that may not happen, because I was really looking forward to it, and I've turned down other jobs and the opportunity to seek other jobs expecting that I was going to have this opportunity, and it's kind of a question mark at the moment. The tariff announcements on films that no one can really understand are like, fuck. just, people that work in film and in theater know that the pandemic hit artists really hard. Most of us lost our livelihoods and had to get creative. It was during that time that I wrote my own TV pilot and raised money and shot it as a web series with people in my community in 2020, 2021, and edited it in 2022. And then the strikes happened, and so people have been underemployed. The industry has really slowed down and changed shape, and we as a country underfund arts incredibly compared to the rest of the world. We don't have a national theater or infrastructure that supports artistry. There's a very commercial entertainment industry that makes a lot of money and contributes to our large economy as a whole, but some of the most creative, innovative, and best art doesn't come out of that commercial, profit-driven pool. And it needs to be supported by grants, and it needs people like me who do a lot of free labor to make things and share them with other people. And so I was thinking about all of those things today, and while I was in my meditation, I was like, okay, well, I am powerful. How am I powerful? And I'm powerful because I'm a piece of the divine, and you're a piece of the divine, and we're all a piece of the divine. We're part of the divine manifested and aware of itself and living and connecting and breathing. And so when I remember that, I feel a little less freaked out and terrified. And I remember that I'm an artist, and that my purpose here is to make art. And my goal today was to encourage other people to make art. So I left my house after my meditation. I'm teaching at a school in the Bronx, finishing up a small residency around one of the much Tony nominated musicals right now through Lincoln Center called Floyd Collins. A bunch of students got to go see Floyd Collins for free yesterday. And then today we were going to unpack their experience, what they liked, what they were curious about, and we were going to write our own ballad and be creators. And so one of the successful things in my day was asking people if they saw themselves as artists, and having high school students stare at me like, and then me asking who likes to draw or sing or write poetry or write stories or dance or perform or paint. And everyone in the room was attracted to one piece of that. And I was able to remind them that they are artists, that you are an artist. It doesn't matter if you do it professionally or even have a consistent practice. Literally taking the time to draw, paint, sing, it's a beautiful way to express yourself, and it's what makes us human, and that we always have with us. No matter what tools or finance or who's around us, it's something we can do. So I had the joy to go into a school and share that, and then we broke down the Ballad of Floyd Collins. We beated it out. We looked at the structure of it. They came up with their own lyrics based on a localized hero or someone that they wanted to create a song about. And we did some music writing, right? And it wasn't about the product, the end result. We're not trying to sell the song. Not everything needs to be about business. Not everything needs to be a profit. Like, we need to put humans first. Like, that is the movement. That is the work of being here, especially in response to the chaos of the news and the current administration and all the many things. Is breathe, get in your body, make some art, share some art, get in community with other people. So one other thing I guess is kind of floating around in my mind, because I talked to one of the classes about it today, was that I had the beautiful joy of going to Indonesia, specifically to Bali, over the winter break, sort of December into January of 2025. And something really cool about the Balinese people is they don't have artists that are separate from your everyday people. It's not like a career that you're going to go into. I aspire to be a famous blah, 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 and I'm going to go do this. Everyone in the community is an artist. Everyone makes art. It's part of a daily practice of living. So people sing, they play music, they make costumes, they make masks, they perform in these community art events that are rituals and are for everyone, and they're stunning and incredible. But the wellness in that country, because people have a place and they're connected to each other, and the divine or spirit is part of their artwork. It's why I make art, right? I have this little tattoo here, which is the Balinese word for taksu, which is when an artist surrenders to form and spirit comes through. And you can have taksu in cooking, in performing on the stage. It's literally like when inspiration and divine flow is coming through you and connecting to other people. And so when I make art, I pray for taksu. I pray for that event or unfolding and community effervescence, like joy to be created by the things that we make. I feel a little rambly today, so I hope you're able to follow me and I make some kind of sense. But yeah, here I am. Okay, so Tony's. I've seen a couple of plays in the last couple of weeks. All of them have been nominated. Well, actually, Macbeth in Stride is not a Broadway show, and won, I think, an Obie. But I got to see and actually teach Whitney White's Macbeth in Stride and go to Bard High School in Queens, Bard Early College High School, with some really dope, smart students, and unpack a little bit of their experience about seeing Macbeth in Stride, which is Whitney White's one woman reimagining through the lens of Lady Macbeth, part musical or part like solo show in terms of her story. Although there's a bunch of people in the live band on stage, I'm not explaining it very well, but I got to experience that, and what I loved about what Whitney did was she took this classic work that lots of people know about, and she looked at where she fits in it and how that story fits in her body, and is it relevant, and how is it relevant, and as an actress who's played Lady M, like what was that experience like for her. And she's reframed the whole thing through a Black womanist punk rock lens, like punk musical sort of lens, which was really fun to experience in BAM. And it was really fun to hear students who had all studied Macbeth talk about where the overlaps were that they saw and what was exciting, and actually work on some of the texts themselves and make their own like found poetry, sort of mixing together bits of Macbeth in Stride with the original Macbeth, with some other like music lyrics, and they made something totally new, which was super awesome. Also, I got to see, so I'm teaching Floyd Collins, which I already talked about a little bit, and I saw, I don't know, a month ago. It's nominated for 6 Tonys, so congratulations to that team. I also want to talk about John Proctor is the Villain, which I don't pay for a lot of theater tickets because I work in theater and work for theaters, and so often I get free tickets. But this was a ticket I had to pay for, chose to spend that $100 on, because I heard that it was just ragey girls, and it's a story set in 2018, inspired by the Me Too movement. Hello, Hot Angry Mom. If you've watched my series, you'll notice some overlaps. But it's set in a high school with students learning the crucible, and it's unpacking feminism, the Me Too movement, who we center in stories, how we tell stories, the crucible. It's so relevant to the time, but literally having those women, there's a moment where a bunch of the girl characters are screaming on stage. And they're just they're roaring, and I just wanted to stand up and scream in the audience with them. So I'm always satisfied by a good scream. There's also like a laugh until you cry moment, which is always beautiful on stage, to have 2 actors just laughing hard in their bellies and releasing all of the tension that's built up, and the impact on the audience. Also, congratulations to Molly Griggs. If you've seen the episode of FBI Most Wanted that I was a guest star on, she played my ex-wife in that episode, and she was in John Proctor's villain, which it took me like 3/4 of the way through the show to be like, I feel like I know you for some reason. Like, you look really familiar. I'm like, oh yeah, you played my wife. So, or I played her wife, really. She was the larger guest star in the episode. So I highly recommend that if you're looking for Tony nominated shows to check out. And then on Sunday, I got a ticket. I was invited to Gypsy, and Audra McDonald's performance. If you can't see, if you're just listening to me, my jaw dropped open and I was like weirdly voguing around my mouth hanging open. I've actually never seen Gypsy. I know the music a little bit. I know the story a little bit, from sort of pop culture-y references. But as someone who wrote Hot Angry Mom, her final song, or one of the final songs, where she's just articulating her own desire to self-actualize, to be seen, and to be valued. Oh, I'm about to cry, friends. It gutted me. She sang from deep, deep in the earth, deep in her pelvic bottom, all of the places, and she pulled up some stuff and I was sobbing. Everyone went around me. I was with 4 friends, hi, Jody, James, and Margaret, and they were like, are you okay? And I was like, just sobbing, because, oh man, if you can get your mama out to see Gypsy while it is running, yeah, it was raw, it was rough, it was beautiful, it was, yeah, it just made me feel all the things. So I highly recommend it. Yeah, okay, so Tony's, that was a little bit, I did not say things in a coherent order. So Tony nominations came out last week, the list of who is up for it. And I've been seeing some of those shows. So I had just, in a chaotic, incoherent, nonlinear way, told you a little bit about Floyd Collins, which I've talked about previously, I think on another live. I talked about John Proctor as the villain, and I just talked about Gypsy, which were a few of the Tony nominated shows that I saw. If you saw some, drop some comments. Let me know, what did you see? What do you love? Also, I talked briefly about the Actors Center, and that it is a company of incredible actors, and one of our fellow actors, Marjan Nesbitt, was nominated for her role in the Broadway production of English, so shout out to Marjan. And congratulations to all of the artists. It's exciting when your baby gets nominated for a thing. I mean, ultimately award shows are about marketing, but also just celebrating making art, celebrating community. The Tonys are doing it at a very highly commercial level, and there's award shows and communities of art makers with different budget levels. But congratulations to them, and I implore you all to make some art. Great. Okay, so I have something. So tariffs was the second thing that I wanted to talk about, and I'm not an economic expert, right? I'm watching videos on how tariffs are impacting small businesses, and there's been the crazy new tariffs on movies made outside of the United States, which just how it's going to work doesn't actually make sense if you understand that how films are getting made and what's happening in the industry right now, blah, 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 blah. However, what I'd like to do or share with you is something that's really cool, an article called No Tariffs on Sharing. So we may, in our economy, have to get more creative. We may need to consume less, which may not be a terrible thing. A lot of businesses are going to be impacted and people are going to be hurt, but let's see how we can help each other to surf the storms of the things to come. So this article is called No Tariffs on Sharing, Tool Libraries Offer Resilience Amid Federal Chaos. So what are tool libraries? So I'm going to read some of this and I comment as I go. As Trump imposes tariffs, tool libraries can serve as a sustainable alternative to consuming more products. This is an article read by Ella Fassler in a publication called Truth Out. And there's a picture of someone called Devin Curtin helping teach a free library workshop. So just a picture of folks helping each other out. Okay, basically a tool library is a space where you can share, loan out tools to make things, much like a library is a place to get books, but also get information. In New York City, a lot of libraries actually have performances. So you can go see one-person shows or different kinds of talks, or you can take different kinds of classes. Libraries, which are underfunded and have had a lot of funding cuts happen to them, are incredible resources for public communities, especially when people are struggling financially and they need a place to type something out. In New York City, I think in some libraries you can have up to 25 pages printed for free a day. So you can actually print resumes and other things like that. All right, that's me rambly. Let me read a little bit on. Okay, so during open hours, I saw volunteers celebrating a member's upcoming 10K, that's a race, when she came in to borrow a GoPro to document the run. Cool. I did one time. I don't think I used a GoPro. I think I used my camera. I ran a half marathon and I recorded it. It used to be on the Hot Angry Mom channel. It might still be. I don't know. I was wearing like monkey ears and a tutu and a whole bananas outfit and was running as a mom, and met another mom who had just given birth who was running too. And we just like were bemoaning how hard the run was and sort of laugh crying each other across the finish line. Anyway, that's not the point of what's happening here. The space was warm and welcoming with a wall of free things. A whiteboard full of local event flyers near a seed library, and power tools impeccably organized on curvy psychedelic shelves that were designed and made by a program that works with Providence Youth. Okay, so this is a quote. It's not really like a Home Depot where you just go in, you don't talk to anybody, you pick up a tool and leave, said volunteer and board member Erica Bello. A lot of times we're having really in-depth conversations with what these people are doing and their projects and all that stuff. And some people just come and hang out. So tool libraries such as these have surged in popularity since the Great Recession. Public library systems house many of them, as in Oakland, Berkeley, California, and Berkeley, California. Hi, geography, sorry, brain, and reading. Grosse Pointe, Michigan has a tool library, Providence, Rhode Island, through a partnership with PVD Things. Independent nonprofit tool libraries are flourishing across the country too. Hubs in Denver, Chicago, and Buffalo all offer thousands of things and workshops. Another in New York City's Flatbush neighborhood offers free membership to all Brooklyn residents. A long-standing library in Baltimore, that's where I'm from, shout out Baltimore, heavily influenced the organizational structure of PVD Things. Oh, I love this. See, we need good news, so I'm offering some good news. All right, so air quotes here, or not air quotes, quotes. Bello says, we want people to realize their own self-reliance. You don't have to be a consumer, you can be a repairer. So many things are kind of built nowadays where you can't fix it, and corporations want you to discard it. It's planned obsolescence. We are trying to give empowerment back to the people. PVD, the company or organization, it's called PVD Things, aspires to host open shop hours where people can fix things and collaborate on other projects together. When I asked Curtin and Bello about their other utopian dreams, Curtin said he hopes for each public library to involve a tool lending program. Bello envisions a world where the proliferation of tool libraries allows people to climb up the economic ladder. And Curtin chimed in that tool libraries can serve as an incubator for small businesses. Oh, there's another picture here. It's making me super happy. And again, the takeaway is building our own communities, sharing our resources with each other, coming together to co-create the kind of world that we want to live in, giving funds to organizations that are trying to do just that. A lot of nonprofits are being cut as government efficiencies. The arts are being cut, sciences are being cut, park rangers are being cut. the education department, which is why I started the whole Livey Rant business, the cuts being made there. I mean, I do hope that we will have a change, that people will realize that the government, the people, the United States citizenry will actually realize, like, oh, those taxes I paid actually should be for our shared resources, and that there are all these institutions that we've taken for granted for so long that contribute so much to the quality of our lives and our community. And sometimes there's organizations that aren't for you, right? They help another community in another part of the country. I'm a New York City resident. Here in New York, we pay so much in taxes. We take care of states like Kentucky that mock us and don't want to give benefits and take care of their own people. Like, our resources are they're spread out around the United States. Like, the resources are shared because we are one greater country. And I think that while it's not fun to pay taxes, right, and we all want to have more of our own money, when you actually begin to realize what your tax money is doing and who it's benefiting, and it's benefiting you. You know, I have friends and family members who are conservative and Republicans who have said things that they believed that they shouldn't have to pay for other people, particularly other people that they feel are unworthy of services, and that somehow having services organized by the government are inefficient, and they don't work well. They're things you don't want to support or you don't believe in, so you'd rather everybody have their own resources and just take care of your own community, which is, in a way, what I'm pitching here is we have to take care of our own communities in this time. But I don't believe that we shouldn't be pulling our national resources. And I hope people are beginning to realize, like, oh yeah, those roads that we drive on, the bridges and the roads, those things being safe, the vaccines that we shoot into our bodies, the medication that we take, somebody is regulating those, the innovations in science and technology that have allowed our country to prosper in the ways that it has. Those are investments that the government made that were publicly resourced. The more that we have private individuals like Elon Musk buying everything up, we lose our autonomy, we lose our freedom. And if you know me in real life, I am not a fan of authoritarianism. I don't like to be told what to do. I have a really big trigger. With being controlled by other humans. I very much want to be free, to be liberated, to live my life as I see fit. And I want that for other people, to be able to create the world that they want to live in. I do believe that regulations are important when they come to making sure that large companies aren't polluting the environment, aren't exploiting their labor, the labor of the people that are making profits for them. You can see that there are bad actors who are greedy as fuck, and those people need to be regulated. There's a lot of billionaires right now doing a lot of harm to the planet. And Elon Musk, rather than imagining colonizing Mars as a way forward for humanity, could be thinking about, actually, there's ways we could take care of the planet now. We don't actually have to burn up the place that we live in. And that doesn't mean we can't be investing in science and space exploration. It's that there are cuts being made to institutions that we need and rely on right now in the name of efficiency, to give money to a billionaire to fund his own personal ego-driven causes. Anyway, sorry, I went on a whole crazy tangent. Not crazy, but tangent off the topic that I was trying to speak on. So let me see if I can get back on track. Okay, then it says later, Hincapi Vidal, Hincapi, I'm not sure how that name is pronounced, Vidal, pulled me aside and said that she had dreams too. Imagine a world where there are tool libraries in every neighborhood, and there are third spaces for people to hang out without having to spend money, she said. There are potlucks to share food and urban farms. We talked about alternative economic systems. Looks like I might be Oh, I didn't even read the backs of pages. Oh, I've gone bananas. Okay, but here we go. We talked about alternative economic systems, such as solidarity economics, that weave together things like worker-owned cooperatives, community land trusts, popular assemblies, and mutual aid networks to build a world that prioritizes people and planetary health over economic growth. This is more efficiently articulated some of the things that I wish to share. In the face of disaster and terrible news, there are other forms that we could pursue in terms of taking care of each other, and I hope that we will. And I'm going back into the text now, entire economies could even be organized around library concepts, as some have suggested, under a system called library socialism, popularized by utopian comedy podcast Cersei Wrong, and further explored by YouTube Andrewism. All kinds of goods and resources could be collectively cataloged and distributed to meet everyone's basic needs and desires. Under library socialism, for example, apartments might be doled out by a collectively managed housing committee that is accountable to its local popular assembly. An affinity group might run a collective kitchen and return the space rental to the housing committee once it's no longer being used. None of the concepts are necessarily new. Solidarity economies and library socialism are modern spins on what many societies have been experimenting with since the dawn of humanity. This is a quote from Hinsapai Vidal. It sounds utopian, but it's not. We've been made to believe that capitalism is the only way because it feels like it has existed forever and there's no other alternatives. But that's not true. It's pretty new. The history is there, so we can bring it forward and learn and share it. Beautiful. So if you want to check this out, I think I missed parts of it, went a bit dodge on it. It was on Truth Out. So here, I'm going to hold that up. Actually, this is probably backwards, so you can't read it, so I'll just read it to you. The article is called, you can Google it, No Tariffs on Sharing, Tool Libraries Offer Resilience Amid Federal Chaos. But you could also just Google the term tool libraries. I found that article inspiring. I found that it helped me just think outside of the box about what's possible. And so when anxiety comes up or the news is overwhelming and making me think like I'm gonna lose my mind, I am trying to meditate. I'm trying to make some art. I'm trying to talk to people and be in community. And the last thing that I'm going to talk about today is Mother's Day. Because Mother's Day is this Sunday. And I know can be a complicated holiday for some folks. If you had a hard relationship with your own mother, if your mother is now passed, if you didn't have a mother in a traditional sense. But I'd love to expand the definition to caretakers and to the verb to mother. So you don't actually have to be a human that's birthed a human or raised a human to mother someone else, which I would say is to nurture, to give to care for someone. So I hope this Mother's Day you'll reach out to the mothers, caretakers in your life. I hope you'll think of yourself as a creator, that maybe you'll spend some time this Sunday making something, a poem, a journal entry, a picture. If you have a mother, you could give it to her. I know that nothing makes me more happy than when my son creates something and gives it to me, that he has spent time and thought, and that gesture is super meaningful. I also just want to say how much the dreams of girls matter. So maybe this Mother's Day, there are organizations supporting girls and women and the creative realization of girl dreams that you want to support. Support women and their bodily autonomy, their right to privacy and to make their own healthcare decisions, and to create families in sustainable ways that we can manage, that are possible. Yeah, celebrate some moms in your life. And also, if you haven't, check out Hot Angry Mom. That was my little pandemic baby that I made when I lost all my jobs and had a lot of time in my house. I created the story of the thing that I wanted to do, and with the help of a lot of people, about 70 artists who collaborated on the project with me, and over 500 backers on Seed and Spark, we realized my little baby dream. So check it out on the Hot Angry Mom channel. It helps us if you subscribe, if you like, if you leave comments, and if you share it with other moms. And please drop some comments for those watching the replay below, and let me know what you thought. Let me know what questions you have. Let me know what you want to talk about. All right, I am going to head out now because I have a film festival to get to, and I'll let you know next week, hopefully on Tuesday, how it went.